Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to be doing part two of The Richest Man in Babylon. And The Richest Man in Babylon, I know that part one, it was really talking about poor spirit or the poor man's spirit. Part two, I'm going to be talking about the main concept of the whole book. Something that you learn pretty early on, and it's a reoccurring theme throughout. And that is the 80-20 rule, basically. Well, it's not. It's an 80-10-10 rule. So, out of a $100 bill, I'm gonna use that because that's easier to decipher. It's you're going to keep $10 for yourself. You're going to use $10 to pay down your debt, and then you're going to keep 80%. So, or you're going to use 80% to live on. So, that's something that is very interesting. Or maybe, no, it was 10, 20, 70. So you're going to be using 10%. So out of that $100, $10 you keep savings account in your wallet, whatever. $20 you divide up among your debts until you pay down your debts. And then $70 is what you use on your expenses. And that's the main theme. Now, I've been hearing a lot of people recently get upset when they hear when they hear that because a lot of people can't live off of 70% of their paycheck. They have to use more, and I completely understand that. I was there at one point in time where you living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have anything else. I remember when we lived in Fort Worth. See, real quick, is in the book it talks about how a couple people tried this out, and they said even though we were living paycheck to paycheck, we found that keeping 10% of our income wasn't hard because it's like we didn't miss it at all. And I would have to disagree. Just because in Fort Worth, when we lived there, we were so broke at that point in time and in so much debt that we didn't have 10% extra. Or we didn't have 10% to put away. We couldn't have kept any. I I mean, we had no groceries. There was weeks where we couldn't afford groceries. They were coming to repossess a truck that I had at that time. I mean, we had no money, but I didn't try it, so I don't know. But that's a big theme of this book. One thing I do want to talk about though is it also talks about in the book increasing your income. So at that point in time, I couldn't do that. Now we do that. Now we do it a little differently. I mean, our 10 10 70 is 10 goes to us. We actually have 10 go to, I don't even know if it's 10 that goes to us. But we have about 10 goes to us, 10 goes to church, and then 70 goes to paying the bills. And so that's how we have it set up, just because we have been able to increase our income. And as we continue to increase our income, then we'll continue to reevaluate how we implement that. Because I think a big thing about that, a big thing in the book that it talks about is increasing your income. And I also believe that that is a big way for you to get to where you're going to be successful in life. If you're making, let's say $500 a week, and your rent is $1,000, that is 2 weeks paycheck just to pay your rent. And $1,000 in this economy right now is almost impossible to find. And $500 a week is what I was making $16 an hour working for corporate. So like $16 an hour is a pretty reasonable pay, but for 40 hours after taxes and everything, making $550 a week. So you're telling me that 2 weeks of my paycheck gone, and then you're going to tell me that 2 more weeks of my paycheck have to pay for all of my groceries for the month, had to pay for my gas, had to pay for my car if I have a car note, and it has to pay for my insurance. And if I have a family and maybe my spouse isn't working at that time, I have to take care of them too, all with $1,100. Like, that's a near impossibility. And that's why normal people get behind, is just because of that rule. You have to find ways to increase your income, whether that means you're working a side hustle, whether that means you start a business, whatever it is, you have to increase your income, because even though everyone's fighting for $15 minimum wage, and now with a lot of employers looking to hire people, $15 minimum wage is not going to get you the housing that you want. Housing right now is going for, I haven't seen a decent place to live for under $12.50. I mean, so if you're making $550 a week, you're not making enough money to be able to cover all that and the bills, and if you have debts. So it's really about getting into where you're making six figures or more. Once you're making six figures or more, you can really start living a better life. And that is part 2 of The Richest Man in Babylon. I hope you did enjoy this, and I hope you did enjoy my explanation on the main overarching theme of the 70-10-10, well, 70-20-10. If you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing, since I do make videos pretty often, and I think they're pretty good. Anyways, if you have any questions, concerns, leave me a comment. I'll see you guys tomorrow.